Hello, good afternoon. Today we were having a live interview with director Tim Lee and actress Elaine Ballace, the star of Dracula's horror. Unfortunately, Tim couldn't make it, so we will reschedule within this afternoon. I'm very happy to welcome Elaine and Mika, correct?
Correct. And you said Elaine, which is really good because most people go Elaine, and it's Elaine. So you did it perfectly. And
Elaine,
this is Mika.
thank you
Mika,
very
say
much.
hi.
Hello, Mika.
Oh,
Oh.
say hi, Mika.
Elaine,
Okay,
before
she's
we talk
really.
about the new, very shy camera,
Oh no, there
yes,
she is. I was
I
just putting her down. She'll hog the whole camera if I let her, won't you?
very
She's very
yes,
photogenic. She's in two
w-
videos, and
yes.
one has 2.6 million hits and the other one has 10,000. So
Where
she's
on
a
YouTube or
superstar. Just ask
TikTok?
her.
Yes,
Pardon?
on YouTube. The videos
Um
on YouTube or
yeah,
TikTok?
one's on YouTube and one's on Instagram. I think it's on YouTube as well, but I always see it on Instagram.
Yes, excellent. Elaine, before we talk about the new movie, I want to you tell me how did you started in showbiz? I see you have a very large filmography, and you work with many famous stars and directors.
Well, honestly, I think I was just born into it. No, neither of
Yes.
my parents were in show business. Well, my mom
Uh-huh.
sort of was. She was a professional violinist, and
Hmm.
she played in an orchestra. But after she got married and started having a family, she gave it up. So,
Hmm.
and my dad had really nothing to do with it, but they did own a vending machine company, and their vending machines were on many different TV shows and films. So that's as
Yeah.
close as it came. But I think I was just naturally born into show business in that I would my mom used to tell me the stories of whenever we would have a family, dinner or something like that. I would always produce the shows afterwards. Everybody had to be in the talent show.
Yeah.
So, and then I would take a hat around and, make people give us money for performing. So, that was basically it. I've just always loved entertaining. I mean, to me, it was like just something I always wanted to do. And I really kind of more started off as a professional ice skater at age 8 when there was a real difference
Hmm.
in those days. Now you get paid to skate, but in those days, if you did anything where you earned any money, whether it was entertainment like acting or skating, you couldn't be an amateur and compete. And so,
Yes.
to me, I thought it was far more fun just to entertain and be an actress and make people laugh. That's what I love the most.
Yes. And I see that your early credits, included appearing in Hawaii Five O and Quincy, and these series, were very, very, very popular in the 70s and the 80s.
They certainly were, and I feel so blessed to have been on those shows. And it was back in the day, really, again, where
Mhm.
there were only really 3 channels, and then there were 4 channels. Now there are
Yes,
millions of channels.
yes,
So, I
yes.
think everybody was far more aware of what was happening on television or in the films or even, like, radio stations with music. But now there's
Hmm.
so many different platforms, which is good because it opens it up. Everybody can, do something. And, but the bad is not everybody gets to see it. So I think
Mhm.
that's the trade-off. You can get it out there and then you just hope that, people see it and that it's well received and you just enjoy doing the work. I think you just have to change your mindset
Mhm.
mainly, you
Yes,
know.
uh, yes, as well. You appeared in Eight is Enough. I remember the series as well. It was very popular as well.
That was a
In the.
great series, and the best part about that series
Mhm.
was, Dick Van Patten was also
Mhm.
in, Robin Hood Men in Tights, Mel Brooks's
Mhm.
movie, and I was in
Mhm.
that, so it was kind of fun to
Yeah.
see him again. I believe I
Yes, but
did 2 Eight is Enough.
yeah. Yes, but tell me, between Quincy, it was in the 80s, and Robin Hood Men in Tights, directed by Mel Brooks, you seem to
Right.
have a certain stop, right? Did you really stop, or it doesn't mention
Well,
all your work?
actually, I can't say I ever stopped, and I probably won't ever stop, but I think
Yes.
the difference was, I was doing more skating and I was teaching
Mm-hmm.
skating too. So I kind of didn't do as much acting as I did skating. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's probably why. But I I would have to say no, I just kind of always continued. I think that there with IMDb and stuff, I think I was always doing stuff, but a lot of the stuff never got transferred to IMDb. So I think
Yes.
that's why it shows like there was a spell or something. But I was teaching a lot in really kind of the 80s and 90s. I was doing a lot of skating.
Mhm.
And so I think a lot of that stuff didn't show up as much. And then also in the early, like, 2000s and everything, and then I was teaching, and
Mhm.
boy, that's a full-time job.
Mhm.
And it's nothing like skating, because you're responsible for other people, and
Mhm.
as much work as I might put into it, even as a coach, and try and get the kids motivated to do their program and to practice and to be so well trained that when you go out there, not to say you're not going to have a bad day, one day,
Mhm.
but what you really want to do is you want to get it so it's almost like muscle memory. And you just know that you're going to do your program and that you're going to go out there. And I used to tell my kids, listen, the only difference is no one will be in your way this time when you do your program. So
Yes.
that's the part that's different.
Yes.
And,
And yeah. Yeah. Go ahead,
so you
please.
just try to train them, but then, I don't know, when you're skating yourself, you're only responsible for you, and then if anything goes wrong, it's the ice, and then it's the equipment, but it's never you.
Mhm.
So you just it's so different, and skating is very different, today
Mhm.
versus is when I skated, because now there's someone who's even doing a quad axle, which is 4.5
Mhm.
revolutions. So I call it a quint because I figure if you can do
Mhm.
4.5 revolutions, close enough to a quint.
To
And
five.
so,
Yes.
but my forte really was spins. And as a matter of fact, I'm in the Guinness Sports Record book for most revolutions per second in a spin. But in my day, when they were doing spins, they were very different from all the spins now, because the spins now are the strangest positions. And we used to make fun of some of the positions when, we missed a
Mhm.
spin. And I don't know, I just think that it's turned into a jump fest and just everything else, it's like, "Oh my goodness, what is going on?"
No,
with
you came. It is the spirit of Dracula with us.
Yeah, it's like, "What is happening?" But, this is the cute thing because, um, I did Mel Brooks's Dracula, Dead and Loving It,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
then Tim Lee's Dracula, Bride of Horror, and so anyway, I tell people I only do Dracula movies.
Yes. But tell me,
But
how
the
was it to work
common thing
with?
in both of them was
Yes.
Mel's
What?
was a comedy, and
Yes.
my character in Tim's movie was the comic relief. So,
Yes.
I kinda get that comedy in some way, somehow.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and tell me, how was it to work with Mel Brooks in two films, Robin Hood
Well, actually,
and
I worked
Dracula?
with him in 4 films. I was
Really?
in, Spaceballs, and then I
Really?
was in yeah, I was in Spaceballs. And on my IMDb page, there's a picture when Mel comes in with his butt on backwards.
Yes. Yes.
um, I'm like the the female space captain who first notices him, and then I play the first space captain, in different scenes. But Mel's like my favorite person in the whole wide world. I
Yes.
tell everybody that,
Of course.
and I tell Mel
Yes.
that all the time too. And he says, "Oh, I don't know, Elaine. Could I be like your second favorite?" Favorite's like a lot of pressure, but
Yeah.
he's wonderful. He's
Of course.
as great as you can imagine. And
His
I did
films
that one, and then
are
I
really
did
funny.
Life Stinks, and then I
Yes.
did Robin Hood Men in Tights, and then Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Yes. Yes. And Elaine, tell me, how did you get introduced to Tim Lee and be cast in the film Dracula
Well,
Bride of Horror?
with Tim, I think it was a casting call.
Hmm.
And hold on, Mika is upset that she is not being interviewed. So she finds all the toys. Okay,
Yes.
that are the noisiest. And so he liked my resume, and then he called and we spoke and we just hit it off. And he goes, "Yeah, you're perfect for the part." So
Really?
yeah, it's been such an interesting time in the world, actually, but especially in the film industry, because so many people are not doing live interviews. I mean, it's so difficult now. You don't even know to whom you're interviewing or with whom or for whom you're interviewing.
Hmm.
And Tim was kind enough to spend time with people on the phone and really get to know them, listen to them read, and we just hit it off. It was great, and he has a real passion for films and actors and performing and just doing the work that you love. And that's why
Yes.
nowadays, in many ways, it's so good that there are so many platforms, because people can figure out a way to get what they love doing done. And our film, Dracula, Tim Lee's Dracula, Bride of Horror, is, it's on Scream Time, and it's also on Vimeo, and
Hmm.
they can buy a DVD. So it's really doing well, and it was so much fun because we were in the other Venice Film Festival and we got to see it on the big screen, and they also aired it on the big wall because they had it outside as well. It was warm, still warm, very warm actually during that time. And so it was it's so much fun to see yourself on the big screen, which is the sad thing in many ways about streaming. A lot of people have, the home theater, so it is like a big screen, or they do
Yes.
have a big screen, but a lot of people don't. And some works of art, I would say films, or even yeah, mainly films, really should be seen on the big screen. There's a whole different impact.
Of course.
So
Yes.
I think
And
now they are starting to realize that people are going back to the movie theaters. So I think it's a good thing. And I hope a lot of people see our film, because it's really a good film and it goes
mhm,
by. He did an amazing job with it, and it was shot well and edited well, and he really is a incredible director, and I know he's got a couple other things lined up, so I'm really eager to get
uh-huh,
working on those too. But, um, he did another film in China, a horror film, and I wish he were here to talk about it because
mhm.
the difference about shooting in the US versus shooting in China, and so that would have been a really interesting story, but I'm gonna leave that for him.
To them. Yes. And Elaine, are you working on new stuff coming up?
Well, as a matter of fact, Tim's got, a couple projects that I'm gonna be working on, and
Uh-huh.
I have my book, and if you where is my book? Let me see. Hold on one second. Talk amongst
Okay.
yourselves.
Yes.
Okay, this let's see, can there. And that was Oreo.
Yes.
Oreo was in the film, and it's How to
Yes.
Write a Book, and there's a better picture of Oreo. Um,
Yes.
How to Write a Book, Campy Lane style, and it is to me, it is really special, and people could contact me. I thought my website would be up by now, but I was having a few issues with the PayPal and the bank and everything. So, it's not quite up. But
Yes.
with this book, I wrote it, and at first it was going to be just a gag gift, how to write a book Campy
Yes.
Lane style. But then we had all that civil unrest and we had COVID and then
Yes.
they started changing history. And so what my book is about is for you to write everything that you are living through and going through, and it'll be passed down to people in your family or friends or just some random person who may find your book, but
Mhm.
you have to write it yourself. I am your guide and Oreo's your guide. And the first chapter is congratulations. I don't know. Let's see. It's kind of, we're not getting it too well. But anyway, it says, congratulations, you showed up. And what it is you take out an implement and you start writing. And I give you pages to write with. See, there's some blank pages, and you write your own story, and it's in your handwriting, and it's something that when you get older or when you pass on, you've got a legacy in this book. And
Yes.
I was your cheerleader. You have a legacy with this book that you wrote what was going on, because in 50 years, who's going to believe what we've all been going through? I mean, it's going to be difficult to believe. And I know I would go, how did that really happen? And I was always curious, even with textbooks, when they would write about the people back in the day and how it was just kind of handed down and people kind of took their own liberty to write what they wanted. But this is your book. This is your legacy. This is what you want the people to know about you. And Rodney Allen Rippey, he was like, do you remember Rodney Allen Rippey? He was the
Yes.
Jack in the Box, the little boy from the Jack in the Box, and he's a very dear friend, and so I would call him up and I'd read the stuff to him. He and Mel Brooks were the only two people who knew about the book before it came out, and Mel just kept saying, I don't know, Elaine. And then he sent me his book, which is 550 pages, and mine is 50 pages. And if you hold them up together, it's like, let's look at these careers and compare them. Well, obviously he had a better career. But he sent me a copy of his book, and I sent him a copy of my book. And he said, Elaine, I have to tell you, it is one of the most clever ideas ever. He goes, it's amazing, but it really is to get people to think and to be responsible and to have a word and a say in really what their life was or what they wanted it to be or what it wasn't, or what they hoped it would be. And so that's the idea. And people can write to me on Facebook and I can give them all the information. I was hoping to have my website up, but a
Mhm.
few glitches still. So, but they can write to me on Facebook at Elaine Ballace, Elaine Ballace, B as in boy, ALLACE. And I can tell them where to send the money and to whom it needs to be autographed. Now, the one thing I don't know, because I've only sold them in the US, is if somebody wanted it in your country or anywhere else in the world. I just don't know what the shipping cost is. So it'd be
Mhm.
plus shipping.
Yes.
So, but
Yes.
it's a great idea, and I think it's something everybody should do because it's so important and it's a great release. I mean, it's when you'd be surprised when you start writing your story, the things that come to mind or how you remembered them or how you remember 'em or how you wish they had been, and people will know because they can't change it. I mean, they could
Yes.
try, but it's not your writing anymore.
This is
So
great. I'm very happy for you, Ellen, for the book and for the new movie,
the
and
movie's great. Yeah, people should see it. And there's another,
yeah,
I'm working on my stuff as well, which is called,
yes.
The Misadventures of Campy Lane,
Uh-huh.
and I have done versions of the Campy Lane for probably 20 or 25 years, and
Yes.
it's a great character, it's well developed, and it's kinda like life imitating art.
Mm.
It's some of the things that happen and everyone goes, "You are so Campy Lane," or "That was a Campy Lane moment." So, um, older versions of Campy Lane are on the internet, so they can just look that up, Campy Lane or whatever, and they can see that. The Misadventures, the only thing that's out on the internet is the sizzle reel. The others haven't really been released yet, so we're still working on that.
Yes.
But it's fun,
This is
and
good.
I just love to work, so I'm available. I always say yes. Mel always said, "Just say yes, and then you'll work it out." Work out the details in case there's a conflict, so just start with yes.
Later on. Great. Elaine, I want to thank you very much for the lovely interview. Looking forward to have you again with your new projects, and
Yes.
let me know about your website when it's on, and so we can review it and post it, and so many can discover your book and your work.
Oh, thank you, that would be so sweet, and it's so great. And what's the weather like in Ecuador now?
It is nice. It is nice. It is, sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's rainy, but basically it's like 20 degrees centigrade. I don't know how much is
Mm.
that in Fahrenheit, but it's nice most of the time. Not cold and not hot.
Well, I think everywhere I hear different things. I mean, even on the East Coast from
Mm-hmm.
friends, usually the fall on the East Coast, especially New England area,
Mm-hmm.
it's always like cold now. And I'm hearing from them sometimes it's warmer there than it is here. It's like in the
Mm-hmm.
70s. Today here it's really cold. It's goodness, let me see.
Yes.
Oh, it's 64. Now that's way too cold for
Yes.
California in the daytime.
Yes. Yes.
We like it more
Correct.
in the 70s or low 80s. But
Great.
It's been such a joy talking to you.
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day and the weekend. And I will reach out for Tim, and so he can talk more about the movie and his adventure into making it.
Yes, he would tell you more because I was a part of it and I really helped him with it, but I mean, when the director writes it, it's really their baby, and it's kind of like when you come into someone else's project and it does become your own, but there's still that part of you that when you, so to say, birthed it, I mean, he wrote it, he directed it, he cast it. So, I mean, it's all his project. All I did was come on board and help him with it and acted in it. And it was a great experience. He's a great director. He has a true love for film and he has a true love just to create. And that's the most important thing. I mean, I if you're doing it from your heart and you just wanna create and share, I think that's the greatest thing, it's everything else will fall into place.
For sure. Thank you very much, Elaine.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again, and I will absolutely stay in touch, and hopefully within a few weeks, I'll have um my website up and then everybody can go see the former Campy Lanes and they
Yes.
can order my book and it should arrive in time for any gift holiday you want to give it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Elaine. Have a lovely
Thank
evening. Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.